You remember it?
Yep.
All right.
That's the N. That's an N. Baker. N. X-ray is NBNX.
NBNX. There it is. He still has it.
Yes,
After
sir.
how many years, Zeke?
They all got out and got off the ship in 54.
54. So next year,
Be 60,
60 years next year.
69 years.
70 years next year, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, 69.
Well, I'm very intellectual.
You're obviously. Yeah.
Maybe I better feed the fish on that.
Yeah.
The corpsman would pick up the guy and tell me what his condition was, and I'd message that back to the ship so they'd be ready when we got alongside them. It was all drilled. We just had a bunch of life rafts tied together that we had to rescue.
Yeah. Now these lights behind us right here, those were the searchlights. They would use those.
That's what we call Big Bertha
Yeah, that's the one that you were shining in on
on the clouds.
the clouds to try to get their attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are different than ours. Those are probably newer. We had one kid that he thought he knew everything, and you couldn't tell him nothing. He went out there and used it one day and then left it running, and the carbon arcs burned out and it melted a hole in the reflector behind it, and the old man was not happy.
Oh, I guess not. Yeah.
Boy, that sucker is different. That whole part. We had a guy from Georgia. This is funny. When we were steaming in fog, they had a thing that turned on automatic, and the ship's siren would go zip, 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 honk. Well, it wasn't working, so they had this kid come over to do it manually. And he did it several times, and all once he got his hand on the wrong thing, but honk, honk, honk. The old man was sitting over holding his hand and said, "Where do they find these guys?"
That's good.
Where do they find these guys? Carl Lovell was his name. And he was an older guy. He wasn't no kid.
So Zeke, tell us about this. Tell us about these flag banks.
Oh, there's 2 or 3 flags for each letter. And you've seen on the movies where there'd be a ship and have all these flags up and send a message to them. Okay. When the ventilating system would break down and our compartment would get pretty nasty, about 100 guys sleeping down there, I'd come up here and I'd crawl and then have a tent, so I'd put a canvas back and crawl down in there and sleep. That's against Navy regulations, but they didn't find me, so. The commissaryman was from 20 miles north of me, and he found out I was from Wabash. He said, "Come with me." So my job, when we were eating, they had this scullery back here, and they'd run everything through this big dishwasher, put them in stacks, and I'd carry the trays back up to this cabinet with the silverware and put them in there, and as the guys come down, they'd file by and pick out what they needed. Well, then after that was over, that guy gave me the key to the reefers and a list, and I'd pick out, after morning chow, I'd pick out enough to run noon and evening and morning again. And he says, you got any way to cook anything on the signal bridge? And I said, "Yeah, we got a hot plate up there." "Well, there's a lot of steaks in there." So the officer, "You can help yourself if you want to." So we had steaks on the midnight watch.
You guys are living good up on the signal bridge.
Midnight watch wasn't quite as much traffic.
Yeah.
And we'd cook up a steak. Probably didn't do as good a job as Brody would do. But
Yeah. But hey,
it was good.
steak is steak.
Yeah.
Better than greasy pork chops.
Every time we'd get underway, them dang cooks would have greasy pork chops. Dang nabbin', they knowed it too.
Yeah, they were having fun.
Navy spends good money on food. It's after the cooks get it that
It goes to pieces.
The cook wasn't from Louisiana there, that's why.
that copper thing. The third.
Oh yeah, so that's the throttle.
Yeah.
Deal.
And then the one in the engine room will do what that does. When they pull that back, then some of our one in the engine room would pull it back automatically.
And then they would, that way they knew they got the order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when we were going into Sasebo and they'd stripped the gearbox, or what the wind was pushing us in towards the old man wanted her back down, and they was trying to back her down. He'd give them a few choice additives. He says, I want it back down now. And they did. They stripped the gearbox out. That gearbox was big.
Yeah.
I think our turbine, it runs 60,000. Does that sound reasonable? I can't remember.
Man, that was a big boat, and it was a single screw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
They had to wait till everything stopped. I don't think they had to wait till the turbine stopped, but I don't know. Anyway, they stripped the gears out of her.
Yeah, no good.
Here's what we made coffee in. Put in 5 or 4 20-pound bags of coffee. I can't remember which. And then when chow was over, we'd drain it out, and there'd be mud that thick in the bottom.
Make coffee in these big things right here.
And big old steam kettle.
Yeah, them steam chimneys, steam cabinets.
That's in you and on me.
I guess that they don't run them as the grills, ain't they?
You know, if it had Cajun cooks, everybody come back with esophagitis and gastroenteritis. Their stomach line is all be burned up.
You make fun of it if you want to, but you can't make fun of it enough.
How many men would be on this boat?
Huh?
How many men with this boat?
100, I think, as I remember, there'd be 125 on a
Okay, that's pretty
tin
good.
can.
That's quite a bit of cooking goes on in here.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know whether that included the officers or not.
Yeah.
We had 800 guys, and
Yeah,
I bet we had 30 officers, maybe more.
You have to have at least 2 shifts.
Yeah.
This is why Zeke slept in the flag box right here.
Yeah. Well, the ventilation's why.
Yeah.
But we've done away with them. They found out that the sag that them give you causes more bed peeing.
Really?
Yeah, so what we did, what I did, I went to the carpenter shop and had them to cut me a piece of plywood to fit that, and I had a 4-inch mattress, and that slept good.
Now, did you have to hot swap bed, or did you have your own bed?
No, we had our own bunk.
Okay.
So you saying you peed the bed?
No, I didn't do that. That's why I got that other thing. Huh. You got your own bunk till somebody comes along with a higher rank and say, I want that bunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Where we slept. There's some bunks in the back too.
what is all this place for storage?
Yep. I'm guessing that's just under storage there, but
Store your gear there. We had lockers like that over there.
I guess y'all all get up at the same time.
Well, yeah. If you stood the midnight watch on the bridge, you go to bed when everybody else is getting up, because you get off at 7, eat chow, and go to bed. When it was in the yard, that was a waste of time, because they hammered on the ship clear at the other end, you know. When the ventilation system break down, and where I slept, there was not only the O division, but the deck ache was about 80 or 100 guys in there. Ugh.
Now they have air conditioning, right? Just ventilation?
No air conditioner, just ventilation. But in Japan, that was all right, because it's cold over there. When we were there, we was in there for winter.
yeah.
Gets down to 20s.
Oh.
That's cold up on that signal bridge. You're 60 feet above the water line. And you're that high, there's always wind.
Yep. And you're on the coast, so there's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to, when you're running a light, it ain't so bad, but when you're writing, see, one guy reads it, calls it out, and you write it. Well, the guy writing's got to have his glove on. And then some dumb officer comes, what's he saying? I don't know, stupid, you just broke my train of thought.
Everybody was
You gonna cut
incompetent.
that part out?
Well,
That's
our
vintage Zeke
navigator-
right there. What do you mean?
Let me tell about our navigator. Maybe I've told you this before, but we broke down out there for 13 hours. And that navigator had us making more miles that day than we'd been making running 24 hours. He took the position report up to the captain at 1,800 hours, and then he would take it, and then he'd go retire to his stateroom. He looked at that a little bit, and when the officer left the bridge, he said, "Boats, have Chief Ed Mancy left the bridge." Chief Ed Mancy was the chief quartermaster, and he was a navigator. He came up and says, "Well, sir, what can I do for you? Can you tell me where in the hell we are in this great big ocean?" He told him. So he said, "Well, yes, I can, but it's going to take a while." He says, "I got all night." But he was kind enough to let the guy leave the bridge for him. Yeah. Now that over there, that might be the one or the other of them is magnetic, the other is a gyro. I don't know what them two gauges up there are unless they go down to each motor.
It must be the hydraulic pressure for the motors, maybe.
Might be.
Yeah. But anyway, they signaled with the red arrow, and then you turned till you matched it with the white one.
Right.
Okay.
Now mine was a little thing about that big rock was in a glass, you know. In fact, that's why I wonder if that ain't. Yeah, that up there is too. See it right and left.
Yeah.
Okay, you never go more than 35 degrees, either way.
I think there's a warning right here for that. It's hard to read, but I think it
Full
says.
rudder, 25 degrees. Hard rudder, 30. Do not.
Do not exceed something speed of 10 knots. 120 RPM.
Well, I don't know. They might be able to control that back here, being the secondary steering. The pilot house might be knocked clear out.
Did you ever steer the boat, Zeke?
Yes, just a little bit.
You
just
did?
in practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so you'd know.
Can't read it. Yeah, I never steered it in and out of port, even on the pilot house with. The quartermasters would, but Don Landers, the kid from North Dakota, was real good for that. Captain always asked for him for the harbor pilot. I never did it, so they don't know whether I was good at it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, Captain, you better listen to me, as I'm in charge here.